Hello, everyone. Welcome to our online Toastmasters meeting of online presenters. Today's theme is International Tea Day. So, yes, coffee and soda, please kindly step aside for a little bit. Tea lovers around the world also celebrate today. And let's be happy and honest, we can celebrate both if it's in December or in another month, because who doesn't want double tea? All righty. If I would only get to the right part. Our mission, we empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. I'm SAA Sergeant at Arms, Dr. Sunny. To our guests, a warm welcome. We're thrilled by your interest in our club. If you're interested in joining, please note you should be a current or former active member of Toastmasters International and have completed at least 6 Toastmasters official speeches. However, if you have substantial relevant presentation experience, we welcome you to apply for membership after demonstrating your abilities in a 2 to 3 minute speech, and you can deliver it during one of our club meetings. All of our membership requests are subject to approval by our club members. We have members and guests from many countries around the world. As a professional organization, we ask that you please be mindful of language and word usage that may be considered offensive or insensitive due to cultural differences. And please note, we are recording this meeting. Your video and audio contribution may be used for club marketing purposes. A quick reminder, mute your microphones when you're not speaking. And now, please help me welcome to the virtual stage our club president, Joni Laidlaw. Welcome, Joni.
Thank you, Madam Sergeant at Arms, Sunny Fridge. 'Tis the season for Yuletide cheer and holiday greetings from around the world. So next week, we are going to be having a special meeting where we find out about how everyone at Online Presenters and beyond actually goes about celebrating this holiday season. And I look forward to as many of us being here. There are quite a few of us on the agenda. It is going to be a very, very interesting Ed feature / holiday celebration. So I look forward to seeing everyone here and being a part of our celebration. For our meeting today, put aside Pepsi. What? The horror. Our Toastmaster of the day today is from England and is going to try to convince us why International Tea Day matters. Please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Andriy Smolenko.
Thank you very much, Johnny. I will do my best to convince you all that the tea is the best beverage in the world. And how I'm going to do it? Of course, I prepared a little presentation that I'm going to produce for your pleasure. The second, I will try to run this meeting nicely and smoothly as the hot cup of tea, of course with milk. This is how we drink it in England. You will find out why British drink tea with milk as well through the presentation. We have a packed agenda today, which normally consists of prepared speeches, table topics when we speak off the cuff, impromptu speaking, and of course, evaluations, one of my favorite portions of the meeting. Just to start our meeting with, I think it would be good to know or just remind us what the actual tea is. And the tea is a regional tea. It can only be called tea when it's made out of Camellia sinensis. It's a plant that normally grows in China. Well, then it has been moved by British and planted in many other countries around the world, in particular in India, Sri Lanka, and even in Africa. Until 17th century, the tea was mostly enjoyed in China, and it was very little known to the rest of the world. Then, with expansion of East India Company and their monopoly on trade with India's and the eastern parts of the world, the businessman, British businessman, and politicians, they start bringing tea. That was luxury in tea houses at that time. It was taxed hugely, of about 112%, and it was enjoyed mostly by privileged people close to royalty, very wealthy. However, later on, about 50 or 60 years later, the tea itself became more popular drink for a middle classes and then slowly moved into just the work classes as well. These days, according to some statistics, over 5 billion cups of tea drunk a day. About 100 million of those are drunk by British in Britain in one single day. You see, there's the really curious thing about British. It's a conception about that all Brits drink their tea with milk, which is very true. And me being Ukrainian, coming into England about 20 years ago, I was used to drinking tea, black tea with lemon and sugar and honey, as civilized people around the world would normally drink it. However, to my surprise, I found out that millions of Brits drink their tea with milk. And why? A number of factors. Back to 17th century, it took months sometimes for the clippers, for the ships to bring the tea, and the quality of tea sometimes wasn't good at all. So disguise the particular taste of tea, the milk was introduced. There is a number two. At that time, hundreds of years ago, the cups, the actual china cups, were quite expensive and they were very thin. So in order to protect the china, the milk was poured into the cup first and then the hot water over. And of course, reason number three, some people just like the taste. And especially during the Industrial Revolution in 19th century, the workers were drinking their tea as a part of their nourishment. Of course, the capitalists want their workers to keep on working without getting drunk. And tea at that time with milk and sugar was a good alternative for their nutrition qualities. I have prepared a number of facts as well that I'm going to share, if time permits, during our meeting. However, now I would like to introduce Dr. Sunny Fridge with our online presenters' unique part of the meeting, which is called Tip of the Day. In her Tip of the Day, Dr. Sunny Fridge will pour some tea, perhaps with over an AI expansion. Dr. Sunny Fridge, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster, today. I want to talk about something many of us are secretly a little nervous about when it comes to AI. Now, some people think AI is here to replace speakers and presenters, even storytellers. I don't really buy that cup of tea. I believe AI is a tool, and like any tool, it's only as powerful as the person using it. Last week, I joined a 5-day Get Confident on Camera video challenge with communication coach Cheryl Tan. And on day 4, we had to record a 1-minute hot take. My hot take was on this idea. Don't fear AI. Learn to partner with it. I'd like to share that video with you now, and then I'll come back with one simple reminder you can use as an online presenter. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. That quote by Franklin D. Roosevelt fits how many people feel about artificial intelligence today. Some folks think if you use AI, you're not thinking for yourself. Here's my hot take. That's a myth. AI doesn't replace your brain. It's a smart assistant that helps you think bigger. Like a calculator, it doesn't make you bad at math. It just speeds things up. In the same way, AI can help you brainstorm, outline, and polish while you stay in charge of the message. So don't fear AI. Fear staying stuck. Use the tool, keep your voice, and let it help you speak and shine brighter. All right, that was my little take on that video, the hot take. And by the way, I used Big View, BIGVU. I put my video through Big View and it put the words under me. Now, here's my simple takeaway for us as online presenters. Let AI be your assistant, not your author. Use it to brainstorm ideas. Let it be a thinking partner. Tighten your wording or organize your thoughts, but make sure the heart, the stories, and the values are still yours. If we do that, AI won't dull our voice. It will actually give us more time and focus to connect with our audience. And that's my tip of the day. Don't fear AI, partner with it, and let your real voice shine through. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sunny. It's another slogan just came up into my mind. Don't fear AI. Have a team with AI, and then everything will be sorted. Yes. Right. And we moving on to the next part of our evening is the part where I introduce our role players, without whom this meeting would be virtually impossible. The number of club members and even guests who've taken out honorable roles. And I would like to start with our Arcanta, Annie Martin. Please introduce yourself and what your role is about.
Yes, thank you. I'm Annie Martin from Melbourne, Australia. My role will be tonight as R counter, counting how many ums, ahs, or other filler words I've heard. Just as a tip, so far with Andre and Dr. Sunny speaking, I have heard 0. Keep it up, guys.
Thank you very much, Annie. And Annie will be keeping close eye on us speaking during this meeting, and she will produce a short report at the end of the meeting that we think will be very valuable for us. After Arkansas, I would like to introduce grammarian, Kai. Please, Kai, explain your role to us, what you're going to do during the meeting.
Right. Good morning from Singapore, everyone. My name is Kai. So today I will take the role as the grammarian. Basically, the word of the day is indulge. So I will try to listen very carefully to every one of you and to count the number of times you use the word indulge in its various forms. As I drink my tea and indulge in it. Thank you. Back to you, Andre.
Thank you, Kai. Well, it's very contagious when you drink tea, so do I, and I indulge as well with tea. The next role player I would like to introduce is, I think, our guest, Said, who will be performing a watcher's role today. Said, would you like to tell us a little bit more about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. So today I will be serving as the watcher, and I will focus on visual aid for online meeting. And my responsibility is just to observe all participants, not just the speakers, and at the end provide constructive feedback to help us improve our communication through our body language, our slides, backgrounds, framing, and the quality of the video. And at the end, when I'm called, I will give a short 1-minute report and highlight the pros and cons of each speaker. If we have any, if I have any feedback, and as well as I will try to provide my feedback at real time through a private chat to the speaker. Yeah, that's my short role. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for this introduction. I have a feeling that you have done it before somehow.
Not at the Toastmasters, but yeah, in my school and in some other professional meetings. Yeah. Thank you.
Good. Well, it's great to have you here. Thank you. And the next role player I would like to introduce is Kirtika, David Kinkataram. She's got a double role play today. Is chat monitor and bolt counter. Kirtika, would you like to tell us about those two roles you are doing today?
Thank you, Andres Malingo. You got my name right at last. Yeah. Okay. As a chat monitor, my role is to dip my essences into the chats and indulge, synthesize, provide insights about our conversation, our meeting, and act as a transcript in today's meeting. So let me all get along with all of us chatting, conversing, as well as providing insights in a fruitful way by the end of the meeting. Over to you, Andre.
Thank you very much, Kirtika. And playing a vault counter role as well, I believe you will be using a tool especially designed and made for our club by David Carr. Is there anything you would like to mention about that?
After the speaker speaks, I'll be posting the link in the chat so that you could all use the link to vote your favorite speaker, favorite evaluator, as well as the favorite, what is it? One more speaker is there. I just
Table topics.
Someone that you like.
Table topics, exactly. Table topics. Table topic speaker. So I'll be posting the link in the chat. Maybe you can use that link to head on to your votes. By the end of each of the rounds, I'll be giving you the results of the vote. I mean, results of all of your favorite
Vote.
speaker, as well as the table topic speaker and the evaluator during the course of the meeting. Sorry, I just got off in a week.
No worries. I think we understand exactly what you mean, Kritika. Thank you. And the next role player, last but not the least, and very, very important person is Timer. Alison, would you like to tell us about your role today?
I sure would. My favorite Ukrainian living in Manchester, UK. I would like to indulge myself and tell you about my role as a timer. Speaking in any occasion in life is very important, but it also is important to know how long you're speaking and if you speak too much. For our speeches today, when you meet the minimum amount of time, I will show the green background. For halfway through, I will display yellow and red. If you overindulge yourself in your speaking and sharing with the fellow Toastmasters and guests, I will display this little screen that says you are over time. And that means you have way overindulged yourself in speaking to our friends here. So have fun speaking tonight, everyone. At the end of our meeting, to save time, I will post the time in the chat as a recap. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Alison. And Alison, if you don't mind, perhaps you could just put a little thumbs up on your screen, so that will transport you in the top left hand corner of the screen, so everyone could see you. Gotcha. Excellent. Yeah, well done. Thank you very much for that. I believe I introduced all very important roles for today, without whom this meeting would be virtually impossible. And with that, I would like to move into our first speaker. Our first speaker is Andrew Bern. And not to the timer, Andrew's speech should be timed at 5 to 7 minutes, please. Andrew will be presenting his speech from Presentation Mastery Level 4, New Pathways, and the Member Cycle Pathway version 2. It sounds mysterious. Andrew has been with Toastmasters International since 2012 and an original member of this club in 2017. In October 2025, Toastmasters International changed or updated the Pathways program. Do you know the changes? Andrew Bern.
Andre, could you give me the screen spotlight so that people can see me? There you go. I'm actually going to pull up a slideshow here. Hopefully it will come out properly. Okay. Can you see it?
Andrew, I can only see...
Not yet.
Okay. You can't see these?
Can't see your slides yet? Nope.
Huh.
If you
Okay.
take you out of spotlight, maybe we will. I don't know.
You can try that.
Nope. No. Still no joy.
No joy. All right. Well,
Andrew, may I
There's a
ask,
share
did you
screen option, Andrew,
yes.
and then
when you-
spotlight both the windows at a time.
I have...
Yeah, I'll spotlight him. But Andrew, did you actually, when you share your screen, you actually show your PowerPoint so that you can click on the PowerPoint and then press the sound on the right?
No, I'm using the airtime, so I don't need to share it because it shares
Oh.
in the program.
Okay. Sorry. Woo.
But that looks like I'm gonna have to do this with word paintings because it doesn't look like it's showing up here.
Now, unless it's on
Okay.
your left side, all the way on the side.
All right. Well, let me just not try to eat up all my things. The question I have for each of you, are you all aware of a couple of things? Are you aware that as of last October 26th, Toastmasters updated the Pathways program? And if you've worked on any of your pathways from level 1 through level 5, after that point in time, you have to include new things in the program in order for it to be given credit for. Let me just try an alternative way and see if I can get it to show up this way. Okay. And what that is, okay, let me start at the beginning. All right. Let me go back to Zoom, share. Okay. Cute.
We're seeing
Seeing this?
you started.
Yes.
Okay. There's always like 3 ways of doing things. So this is directly from the slideshow. And this has to do with how the membership cycle and the changes for membership are now integrated with the Pathways program. And let me explain. Everyone knows that there are 5 different levels in Pathways, 1 through 5, and there's differences between them. So let me go slowly, relatively slowly, through those changes. Level 1, and if you want to take a screenshot, that's fine. The traditional pathways is what's on the left-hand side. You have 6 elements to complete for a level 1. What they've added is your need to participate as a table topic speaker and to participate as a timer or an eye counter. If you do not do those 2 additional projects, you cannot get credit for level 1. That has an impact on you. It has an impact on the club. But you might ask, how do I get those things accounted for when I do my table topics or counter or timer? How do I get that accounted for so I can get credit for level 1? Does anybody know the answer to that question? How do you get credit for that? Anybody? Okay, pay attention. What you do is you go to the base camp. Once you open up base camp, go to the top right where you have your picture and it says profile. Click profile and go down about 2/3 of the way, and it will have a list of programs ranging from the topic master to all the other program elements that they have. And you have a crayon or a writing tool, and you click on that, and then you add in your speech or you add in what roles you had. That's how you get it listed in the system so that when you're going for credit, it picks it up. And that's what is necessary now for level 1. Who knows what is required now of level 2? Anybody? Okay, level 2. It gets a little bit more complicated. Besides the prescribed programs under level 2, you now have all of these additional 4 projects that you have to have completed. You have to be a grammarian and use the word indulge as you're going through your meeting or whatever the word may be, and explain what a grammarian is. You have to do a speech evaluation. You have to do table topics. You have to be a Toastmaster of the day, timer, or art counter, or you cannot get credit for level 2. Here's where it starts getting really complicated. When you get to level 3, not only do you have your mandatory project and your elective projects, but you also have your Toastmaster of the Day, speech evaluation, table topics master, or introductory mentor program that you have to start. But you also have to do the Club Success Series. Who knows where to find those Club Success Series programs? Does anybody know? Okay, Krithka knows. For everybody else, you go to the search bar in the Toastmasters program and you type in Successful Club Series and click on it, and it'll bring up an entire zip file for that material. And the same thing is true for level 4, where you have the Better Speaker Series added to that. And that's where you find the Better Speaker Series to be added to the projects you require under level 4. Level 5, you have these additional things. I started a little bit late because of technicality, so I'm going to end right here, but I can answer anybody else's question.
Well, I do have one question, if I can, Andrew.
Well,
Do we have
if
to?
you give me some extra time, I know we had some technical stuff, but
You're good on time.
I'm good on time.
Can
How
I-
much time do I have left?
You've
2
got
minutes.
about a minute 45 seconds left.
Okay, so as you see, what it's incorporating with all of these projects is it's incorporating what used to be called the Competent Leader Program. And it's focused in on knowing the roles of the membership cycle. And the membership cycle goes back to the roles that we all play and how these roles are impacting the club and what you're performing, what skills you're developing. And in that, you can see that the Sergeant at Arms has specific roles. You see that the Treasurer has specific roles that impact all of these things that you're doing. This goes on for each of the 8 roles. And so when you're looking at the overall club activity, you can see that it's important to know what all the roles are. It's important to know how the structure administration works. And it's important to know that the central core for Toastmasters is the club. It then telescopes out. Think of CADD, club, area, division, district. And that's how it works for the Global Toastmasters program. but it's all centered on the club. Back to you. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Andrew, would you like to finish now? You're in red. Perhaps people could write their questions in the chat.
Or they can say, I'll stay afterwards, after the program is over tonight at 9 o'clock, and I'll be happy to stay over if anybody has any questions.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Andrew Bern, for your quite insightful speech. I didn't know most of the stuff you were just talking about, but thank you. So now I should spend more time just learning how to learn about Toastmasters, learning about learning. Thank you. And the second speaker for today is Karry Kong. Karry, before I introduce your speech, I would like to confirm with you that your speech should be timed at 7 to 9 minutes. Is that correct? Sorry, Karry, I cannot hear you.
Her head went up and down.
So is it yes?
Yes. So it's 7
Yes.
to 9 minutes. 9 minutes is the maximum. Yeah.
Okay, timer
7 to 9
confirmed.
minutes. Brilliant. Okay, and the second speaker for today is Karry Kong. Karry is working on Dynamic Leadership Level 4, Building Skills projects. And her speech title is Dilemma of a Working Woman or Working Mom. In this speech, she is building on her personal experience to explore the broader challenges faced by working women and working mothers, showing how workplace policies, or the absence of them, influence career decisions, family planning, and overall well-being. Karry Kong with her speech, The Dilemma of Working Woman, Working Mom.
We've just lost your audio, Karry.
Still, we cannot hear you, sorry.
We can see your slide screen, your PowerPoint in the background, but we can't hear you.
Can everyone hear me right now?
Yes, now we can.
Yeah. Sorry about the technical difficulties that we experienced today. Yeah. So I'll start my speech right now. Hi, everyone. Today, I really want to share about an unexpected experience of mine. And actually, this speech is not any part of the pathway. So pardon me, this is not part of dynamic number 4. This is just a speech that I really want to come up with you all. It was about an unexpected experience of me negotiating a part of the benefits of my offer that I received 2 months ago and what I have actually experienced and what I have learned from it. Let's hear about my story. 2 months ago, I actually received a really meaningful offer from an energy startup company, which is located in North Carolina in the United States. For those people who don't know, North Carolina is actually the southern part of the country. It was a really exciting opportunity, fast-paced, really meaningful work, and there was a lot of room to grow. During the offer negotiation process, and they were really impressed by my work, so they decided to give me the offer. I was trying to negotiate about the offer, and I carefully reviewed all the compensation, responsibilities, and benefits. But there was one thing lacking. I asked them, and I asked the founder, what about your company's maternity leave policy? Yes, the answer was actually shocking. There was no paid maternity leave policy, and there was no formal policy related to that. Look at the screen. The company actually offers 3 months of unpaid maternity leave, and it also requires me to deduct my annual PTOs from the maternity leave. For example, if the unpaid maternity leave is actually 3 months, and I have a PTO leave of like 15 days, it means that my 15 days have to be deducted from the 3 months in order to be qualified to be in this program. I was actually really shocked to learn about that because this actually complies with the law in North Carolina and with the federal law as well. You didn't hear that wrong. Actually, compared to most of my past experiences, either in some larger organizations or in my home country in Hong Kong or China, this was a little bit unusual. In the United States, actually, United States is the only OECD country and the only developed country that does not guarantee paid maternity leave at the national level. Outside of the OECD countries, there was around 5 to 7 different countries that didn't have paid maternity leave, including Papua New Guinea. In contrast, a lot of other countries that you are familiar with and all the Toastmaster members are coming from, they all have paid maternity leave. For example, Italy, it offers 22 weeks of paid maternity leave. In my home country, China and Hong Kong, we provided 14 weeks of paid maternity leave. In the US, maternity leave is actually assumed to be part of the employment benefits. It's not a right. Federal law allows eligible employees to take time off, but that leave is unguaranteed and usually unpaid. The access really depends on the company size, the company tenure, and the founder's own wish. As a result, maternity leave becomes less of a right, but more of a negotiation. What happened after that, you might want to see. When I was trying to negotiate more flexibility, I really didn't get a really clear answer from the founder. I was hoping the founder could make some exception or we can find a middle ground in between. But instead, the next day, he gave me a call and he told me this. Wow, Karry, it's so nice. I think you could fit our company really well and we really appreciate your skill sets. However, the fact that you are planning to have a baby next year while you're just joining our company, we are really concerned about that. This is the type of a business risk that we don't want to take. And I was shocked because they are implying that they wanted to rescind my offer. In reality, most of the women, they just simply decline the offer instead of suing the company or pursue the legal route. Yes, you are right. That was actually illegal under US discrimination law. But it will consume us tremendous time, energy, and money to actually pursue on that route. And I was actually one of them. I didn't take the offer. I understand it was a totally red flag to join a company. And I declined the offer and I moved on. I sent a really polite email explaining that our values misaligned. This moment paused me to think about what kinds of dilemma working mothers or working women are facing nowadays. Look at this. Being encouraged to be really ambitious and fully committed to work, while expected to plan for pregnancy and other caregiving. We are being encouraged to make career decisions based not only on the opportunity, the skill sets, and the match, but based on timing, financial risk, and support. Returning to work under pressure to perform as if nothing happened and as if we can still perform and gain an A+ in our ratings. And navigating a system that actually treats motherhood as personal issue rather than a part of the normal routine of the workforce. Reflecting on this, I realized the issue goes beyond the maternity leave itself and the benefits. It's actually about how workplaces define sustainability and value. Companies, they would rather invest heavily in talent and time to talk to you, to interview. However, they could not and they were not willing to support your major life events and transactions. they risk losing capable, motivated people and women. So what can be done? I would really suggest the following to all the companies and people to think through. First, clarity. Even though full paid leave is not feasible, what about clear and written policy, even for startups, to signify their respect and foresight? Second, flexibility. Phased returns, partial pay leaves, it can really make a really meaningful change to women's life, and maybe work from home in some days that we can negotiate the differences. And third, and last but not least, normalize those conversations. Asking about maternity leave is not any kinds of discrimination. It's the same as asking about health insurance and my dental benefits. Unpaid maternity leave is actually not only a personal challenge. In a workplace, we can see it's also like a society problem. In 2024, the US, we only have around less than 2 children per woman. And you can see the fertility rate decreasing every single year because there is a lack of support from the society and lack of support from the company to accommodate women working and giving birth at the same time. And this trend definitely reflects a broader choices that working women can make in terms of limited support. I can see all companies, managers, employees, and societies as a whole can benefit from this issue thoughtfully. With clarity, fairness, values, and supportive practices, that we can actually make it easier for women to contribute to work and manage their life easily, to combine work and family life together, and ultimately supporting individual well-being and make a stronger, more sustainable workforce. And I offer this to you and everyone as a reflection. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Karry, for your speech. Wow, I'm speechless on some of the facts that you mentioned. And something that came into my mind is about paternity leave. Because in some countries, they're still debating whether to introduce it or not. And some countries already have it. For example, in the UK, they do. I would love to know, I would really curious to find out more about the paternity leave, perhaps in your next speech. Thank you. And Madam Timer, I would like to ask you for your time reports, please. Would you
Yes.
like to?
Yes, both speakers qualified, and they did not indulge themselves to go over. Andrew was at 7 minutes, 30 seconds exactly, and Miss Karry Kong was at 9 minutes and 23 seconds. So great job.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Madam Timer. And as Kritika put it in the chat, there is a link to the voting system. So please click on the link in the chat and cast your votes for your favorite speaker. We have 2 speakers today, and both of them show the high quality of presentation into my mind. Before we move to the next section of the meeting, which is table topics, and before I hand you over to capable hands of Johnny Laidlaw, I would like to share interesting facts about drinking tea, or to be precise, fortune-telling drinking tea. There is a so-called way of predicting your future, or answering questions about what's going to happen in your life by looking at the tea leaves in your cup after you finish it. And yes, there is a name for that so-called science called tasseography. Tasseography. Perhaps if you would like to indulge yourself after drinking tea in tasseography, you can. It's available to anyone, and your imagination is your guide. And with that in mind, I would like to pass this meeting, virtual gavel, over to Johnny Laidlaw with her table topics section. Over to you, Johnny.
Thank you, Andrew. You have been doing a wonderful job as Toastmaster of the Day, taking us through the indulgence and the exquisiteness of tea. Table topics is the part of the meeting that everybody looks forward to turning off their camera for. It usually is for people who aren't on the agenda. So, one specific person here, just so you know, you're going first. For everybody else, remember, use the word of the day. We are all fair game. Ensure that you indulge in utilizing the word of the day. And I know we all know, right? It's 1 to 2 minutes, but I'm going to say speak until you see the red card. My first question: what does your favorite food or beverage say about your personality? And that one goes to Sherry Blake.
Thank you so much for that question. My favorite food. So, my favorite food is actually seafood. And what does that say about my personality? It says that I like the water. I like the water. I'm not a great swimmer, but I like to be on the beach. I love to be poolside. I don't drink, but I don't mind having a mocktail or a virgin drink. So I just love that environment of being out in the sun, laying on the beach in the sand, getting my feet wet, or being on a cruise ship and being poolside with just the sun beaming down on my skin, just being able to look up at the sky, just imagining, you know, my deceased relatives looking down on me. And I just kind of go into this phase and this moment of just imagining them looking at me and me talking back to them. So seafood, because it's in the water, I would say that is my favorite food. And that would definitely say a lot about my personality. So to sum that up, it's just a personality that just likes to be outdoors and likes to be near water. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
It also says what your favorite food or beverage says about your personality is you're not indulging in tea. Thank you for your response, Sherry Blake. Our next question: what image comes to mind when you hear the word tea? And that is going to go to Carl Walsh.
I would say the image that comes to mind for me is late nights in London after rehearsals or after a performance on stage. We would go to a little cafe about a block away from the academy. We would be the only people sitting outside, even when it was sort of cold. And we'd have tea and we would talk about what happened that evening and what play we were rehearsing in the morning and the other play that we were rehearsing in the afternoon and what we're going to do for the play that we're performing tomorrow night. And we would do this all over tea. The other time that I think of tea is playing chess and downing buckets of tea and that fine, thick English tea with milk. I always loved those, and that's the image that always comes to me, is that tea that, like I said, it's that fine tea that stains your teeth. And I just loved it. It's not that delicate stuff that you put a tea bag in. Oh, no, 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 no. It sits in the big canister all day and they shovel it in and they just keep it in there and add more water and heat it. And that happens all day. But they do that with coffee too. If you ever noticed, you get coffee in England, there's an oil slick on top. It's because it's been sitting in there all day. And it's It's got hair on it. It's got muscle. It's strong. It's got body to it. None of this Starbucks stuff. And I always appreciated this. But of course, this was back in the 70s, and times have changed since then. But I always appreciated that. And that's my image of tea. Back to you.
Chess and the descriptive language of Karry was not what I was expecting when you thought of tea. But I always thought, as a Jamaican, watching cocoa tea boil, by the way, milk is supposed to be in tea, that oil was from that. I'm now going to have to go look into where that oil on top of that tea actually comes from. Fascinating.
Well, as I say, this was in the 70s. They have civilized themselves since then. Times were rough in England in the 70s.
Thank you, Carl. The next question is, what is the correct way to hold a teacup? Pinky up or pinky down? And why? And this one I am going to ask, because I saw him with a teacup, Karry.
Topics Master. There are various ways of drinking tea. One is, as you say, with the pinky raised, so that you can be genteel and polite. There can be with the pinky down, where you're just drinking the tea. There's with the hands around the cup to warm it on a cold winter's night when a nice cup of tea is just keeping you warm. Or when you've poured some whiskey in it and you're just slugging it back because you're an Aussie and you're drinking tea with rum in it. Actually, would he put whiskey and you put rum in your tea and you just throw it back? You can drink tea however you like. I have to say, my favourite way of drinking tea is called yum cha. Now, yum cha, most of you think of yum cha as being eating lots of small Chinese foods, dumplings and such things. But in fact, yum cha literally means to take tea. So you would have a tea, usually green tea, in a small bowl, and then you would serve small bits of stuff to go with your tea, small food. Now, of course, we just think of yum cha as being the food, but not the tea, which makes it really, really weird when you go to a yum cha restaurant and you have to ask for tea. I'm always demanding tea. I quite like drinking delicate Chinese tea out of bowls, but I also like a good strong cup of tea, like Carl says, tea with mussels in a giant urn. I'm about to get on a cruise ship, and we're about to sail from here back to Australia. There will be no tea in urns. There are tea bags, no tea in urns. On the other hand, there will be those giant urns of American style coffee, which gets more and more bitter and more robust as the day goes on. And I drink less and less of it because, like Andy, I can't drink too much coffee anymore. They actually serve decaf in those things, but it tastes terrible. So I'll go back to drinking tea. Topics Master.
Why have coffee if it's decaf? Be it hairy and strong, or warm, soothing, and comforting. Be it for health benefits. My tummy hurts. Let's have some tea. Or just a quick pick-me-up. It's always important to indulge in tea. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Johnny, for your wonderful leadership with table topics. Madam Timer, I would like to find out if all our table topic speakers qualified.
Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, yes, sir. All our speakers qualified, putting the times in the chat. No one indulged themselves and went over time.
Brilliant. Hey, so no overindulgence over table topics today. We'll see how our evaluators will do, but just in a minute. I believe that our vote counter, Kritika, is going to put a link into the chat by clicking on which you have an opportunity to vote for your best or your favorite table topics. Please, I think Kritika is going to do it in a minute. In the meantime, I would like to pass this virtual gavel to Graham Carnes, our general evaluator. Graham, the stage is yours.
Travy and beauty, and I thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I think if you will indulge me, I will now take over the second half of the meeting, or at least what's remaining of the meeting, to conduct the general evaluation. I'll begin with the two formal evaluators, and the first of those was Marianne. Marianne was evaluating the speech tonight from Andrew Bern. So, Marianne, for a period of 2 to 3 minutes, Madam Timekeeper, with lights at 2, 2.5, and 3, if you would, please. Please welcome Marianne Grady.
Why, good evening, my friends, and good evening, Andy. You did choose a topic that related well to all of us, the additions to the Pathways Project, so kudos to you. I was really unfamiliar. I knew they had made changes, but I didn't know what they were, so this was extremely beneficial for me. You illustrated these changes with slides that I thought were very easy to look at because you showed the old way and the new additions. So it was very illustrative of what we needed to know. So super helpful. Your topic allowed you to connect well with your audience, which was one of the goals of this project. So mission accomplished. Unfortunately, you did have some technical difficulties, and that led to you shortening this speech. My suggestion would be to sign on early, practice, make sure everything works ahead of time so that we don't feel like we're missing out, because I kind of feel like I got a little cheated. So what I would ask you to do is another idea is to have like a plan B. So your plan B might be to put your slides in the chat. So if you couldn't get them out to us, that we would at least have them to refer to. So always having a plan B is a good thing. And I think you are aware of that as such an experienced speaker as you are. But your slides were super easy digested, because I know you can get this information on the TI site, but that's not always the most intuitive place to find information. And your slides were really, I thought, well done. So in short, your speech provided valuable insights and was very engaging, and you ranked high on the audience relevance scale. But since it's important to all of us, I would ask you to indulge me and give this speech again so we could hear all of your valuable tips and all of the information. If you did achieve your goal, it's not that. I just want everything. I don't want to feel like I'm missing out. And one last thing, at some point you asked the timer how much time you had. It's your job to keep track of that and look at the timer's block. You shouldn't be asking that in the middle of your talk. That's kind of a little just disruptive to what you're saying. But I really appreciated your topic and your speech tonight, because I'm in the middle of some of these things and I know I'm going to have to do more things than I intended now. So thanks for enlightening me, and well done, Andy. Back to you, Graham.
Thank you very much, Marianne. Our second evaluator today is Jim Barber, and Jim is going to be evaluating the speech today from Karry. So, Jim, 'tis all yours.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Karry, I always look forward to your presentations, and this was no exception. This was different. This was not what we were expecting from you. This was, you grappled with a serious topic and you wrestled it to the ground. You did great here. Dilemma of a working woman, of a working mom. You raised some issues that I was partially aware of, but not nearly to the degree that you illustrated in your presentation. But I'll get to that in a moment. Your presentation itself was top-notch, as it always is. Your use of gestures were good. We couldn't see that much of you because the focus was on the slides. Nevertheless, you did bring your hands up near your face so that we were able to see your gestures. They were congruent with what you were saying. They were effective. They were very good. I love the way that you pause after you're making a major point. You make a major point, such as that somebody is discriminating against you, and you stop and you wait and you give us a chance to digest what you've just heard. That's a very important technique, and you are a master of it. Your presentation as a whole was well explained, it was well organized, it was logical, you had everybody following along with you. I have one suggestion for you, and it's not really anything to do with your presentation techniques or anything like that. But in your presentation, you towards the end, you said that what could be done, what would help matters if there was clarity, if there was flexibility, and if there was a normal conversations, normalizing conversations. And that is very true. However, those are things that companies should be doing. But what's their incentive? Why should they do it? What can we do as audience members? We can recognize that those things are important, but that isn't going to accomplish anything. What can we do to force those things to occur? Can we vote? Can we write our government officials? Can we march and protest? Or what can you do? What specific benefits, monetary benefits, can you point out to the companies? You did this to a little bit degree in terms that they're losing valuable talent, but we need more evidence of that this is occurring. So you explored a very vital issue that needs to be looked into, and the only thing I could suggest is that your call to action needs to be a little more focused on the area where you can actually accomplish something. But this was a great presentation, lots of meat. I hope you'll indulge my going past the red light there, but this was very impressive, and I'm looking forward to your next one. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Jim. I'll give you an evaluation a little later, along with one for Marianne. But now we move on to the people who are in ancillary roles, and time for us to get our reports. But before I do, can I get the timing, if I can, of
Yes.
the two evaluations?
Yes, Mr. General Evaluator. Marianne's evaluation of Dr. Andrew was 2 minutes 46 seconds, and Chatty Jim's was 3 minutes and 15 seconds of Karry's.
So both of those make them eligible for the vote. So when the vote comes up, you know what to do. You know where to do that now. I just need to get back to the current agenda, since I seem to have somehow lost it. So I find out who our ancillary people are. Let's try this again, shall we? No, I've somehow ended. Here we're back into the right page now. I'm working off my laptop, and I have to say I hate working off my laptop. So now let's move to the people who I'm going to be calling on to tell me what their reports are going to be. And I'll ask first for the functionaries, the grammarian. Our grammarian this evening, she will indulge us, or if they will indulge us, in fact, with a report on how they did tonight. So with the grammarian's report, and the grammarian is Kai. I'm sorry, Kai, if you can give us your report, that would be great.
Right. So the word of the day is indulge, and I would say many of us have taken this opportunity to indulge in this particular word. So Andre multiple times, Dr. Sani, Allison, Joni, Marianne, Graham, yourself, many people use this word correctly. So well done. And there are some words or phrases that I personally really like. Say, for example, Andrew's comments were quite witty. You need to be a grammarian and use the word indulge. I mean, I'm sure he actually inserted that into his speech, and he used the phrase, it then telescopes out, in his speech. So well done. Andre, your imagination is your guide. I love that. Sherry, sun beaming down on your skin. Marianne showed the old way and the new addition. And lastly, Jim, difficult topic and you wrestled it to the ground. So I love all these phrases. So well done, everyone. Back to
Thank you very much, Kai.
you.
Thank you for your grammarian's report. We need to look at not only what we did well, but also what we did in an exemplary fashion. And you did that. Thank you very much. Our watcher tonight is guest Syed. Syed, any observations you'd like to make from a watcher's point of view? And if we can keep the report to around a minute, that'd be fabulous.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, all right. Just a quick wrap up from me as the watcher. I don't have my camera on today, but I still want to share my feedback on this. So thanks for excusing me for that. First off, I want to say great job to everyone. Overall, the visuals today were clear and professional, which really helped keep the focus on the discussion. And looking ahead to future meetings, there are a few simple things we can do, like adjusting the camera to our eye level. The small change makes you look more engaged and helps others feel like you are speaking directly to them. Another is checking your lighting before we start. When your face is well lit, it's easier for people to read your expressions and stay connected with what you are saying. And finally, keeping background simple and free of distractions, which will help stay focused on the speaker instead of what's happening behind them. And I also want to highlight some positives. Like I noticed today, several people had excellent framing and lighting, which made their contributions stand out. The slides were clean and easy to follow, and I appreciate how they illustrated their content. Those were great examples, so we can all learn from that. On the improvement side, there were just a couple of moments where cameras were angled a little bit too high or low, cutting off part of the face, and a few background had movements. And these are just easy fixes and make them like the speaker unprofessional. And finally, at the conclusion, I would say a strong effort today and looking ahead for more professional and polished meetings. Thanks, everyone. Back to you, Mr. General
Thank you.
Evaluator.
Thank you, Syed. All right, let's move on to our counter, and that's Annie. Annie, Mark.
If you will indulge me, I went into schoolman mode and I counted and I got quite a few. I'm going to break the bad news and then I'll break the good news. Andre, 2 ers, 3 R's and an Kai, 2 R's. Syed, 5 R's, 6 ers. Kritika, 2 so's, 2 R's and 1 Sherry, 1 you know, 1 so. Carl, 2 ers, 1 Graham, just 1 Marianne, 7 R's. And now the good news. Lots of people didn't say any of them. I've just said loads of them then, obviously, in giving this report. But people who said none of them, Karry, Joni, Sunny, Alison, Andrew, and Jim. And I'd like to make a particular mention of both Andrew and Karry because they were speech makers and there was not a single so anything in their speech. Well done, everybody. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you very much. Now, let me see, our chat monitor today has been Kritika. Kritika, anything specific in the chat that you wish to draw to our attention? I think Kritika may still be working on trying to get the voting up and running, which would have been the next thing that I was going to get to. We'll get back to the voting in a minute. Time now for me to give an evaluation of the evaluators. I have to say, first up, I thought Marianne's evaluation was full of really good praise, but it also pointed to how to avoid some of the tech issues and the observation that we do have a 15 to 30-minute period before the meeting to allow us to test our tech. Sometimes things go wrong, but I also really, really liked Marianne's suggestion that even had a test been run and something go wrong, there should always be a plan B, for example, to put the slides up into the chat. I thought that was well done. I said empathetic, but also educative. So well done there, Marianne. Jim, I wasn't the only one who noticed your fabulous phrase. You took this topic and you wrestled it to the ground, and I thought that was a really nice turn of phrase. It was good to point to the gestures and pauses which Karry was using, and I agree with you, they were used particularly well. I also liked your observation that her call to action wasn't a call to action because it didn't say what we as an audience could do specifically. And this is an important point, not just for Karry, but for everybody. When you're doing something where you want action to take place, you sometimes need to grab the audience by the nose and drag them to the point that you are trying to make. You have to, I mean, you can gentle them along if you like, or you can grab them by the nose and say, "Oi, come here." But one way or another, you need to say, this is the action that needs to be taken. This is how I suggest we take that action. Having said that, I really thought that the structure of Jim's presentation was a little meandering today. He started out by telling us the good things. He said, "Here's something I'm going to tell you about. I'll get to that later." Then got back to the good things again, and then I'm going to, but let me get back to the good things again, and then finally got to the suggestion. Structure, structure, structure. Tell them what you're going to say. Tell them what you told them. It works in an evaluation as with everything else. Evaluation is the keystone of the Toastmasters experience. I think we saw some fine evaluations tonight. We can always improve. Now, back to Kritika. Any observations from you as the chat monitor, Kritika?
Oh, yes, Graham. I would love to share my observations as a chat monitor. Here is a quick link to the today's chat window. We have quite an amount of engagement regarding the storytelling part from Andrew, and details of how to prepare chai and how to prepare more of things like for our next pathway program. And in that context, I would quickly like to share the insights as a presentation, which I would be sharing it right now with you all. So here is a quick grab. If you wanted to have it as a link, you can have it. Or if you wanted to have that as a presentation, here is all that. Can you see the link? Is my link visible?
We can see it indeed. Well, we can see the slide, yes.
Okay, great. So the first link speaks about powerful stories, 5 storytelling technique and framework that has been shared by Andrew. The second one is the storytelling hack. The third one is how to prepare tea, and masala chai ingredients are there in the chat. You can prepare your own tea right now from wherever you are from. Here is a quick nugget of what has been captured in the chat. Andrew shared about his shingles vaccination and his insights about dementia and Alzheimer. Kritika shared about the 6 engaging paths and the 5 legacy paths, which is new to the Toastmasters Pathways program. And Graham has added details about how the new roles and many paths would be enabled in the forthcoming meetings. So here is my quick review and the chat results,
Thank you,
which is assimilated towards you all. Okay,
thank you,
over to
Kritika.
you, Graham.
Thank you, Kritika. Now, the voting, I'm not sure that the voting actually worked for table topics, so we'll leave the voting for today. Just let me say that everybody today was a marvelous speaker. Everybody today was an excellent evaluator, and I thought that all of the table topics, particularly mine, no, seriously, all of the table topics were really well done as well. General observations, meeting started on time, everything went the way that it was supposed to. We had some technical issues, and it's been pointed out that we do have a period before the meeting begins to actually test for technical. Try and use that opportunity if you can. Chatting and doing the welcoming bit is fun and fine, but we should also be using that period to say, "Hey, look, can I interrupt the chat for just a moment? I need to test that this is working." use that opportunity, because you're the one who comes off not looking good. Embarrass yourself for 30 seconds before the meeting, better than embarrassing yourself for 2 or 3 minutes during the meeting. That's all I have from this meeting. I will now hand control of the meeting back to our Toastmaster of the day, Andre.
Yeah, well, thank you, Graham. And I'll take a pass control of this meeting to our president of the club, Johnny Laidlaw.
Thank you, Andre, for reminding me how much I love tea. And I will actually be taking a break from Pepsi and coffee to have some cocoa. Try some mint tea. Excellent, excellent Toastmaster of the day. We are currently ahead. Anyways, meeting should have ended 2 minutes ago. And with that, I now call our meeting adjourned. Our next